లేకపోతే లైక్ ఇంకెవరైనా న్యూ పర్సన్స్ కానీ ఇంకెవరైనా ఎడిషనల్ జాయిన్ అవుతున్నారు?
సో కన్ఫర్మ్ అయిన వాళ్ళు
Okay, so you can see the slide number 1, right? The custom domains, I guess. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So we can have the two screens, so that's why I'm a bit confused. So fine. Yeah. So can anyone answer what is the custom domains when we create the custom domains? In the previous class, and the topic just we discussed, right? So is there anyone know when we create the custom domain, what is the necessity to create a custom domain? Anyone can answer.
Based on the client requirement, data and the vendor, like if it don't fix into any of these general purpose and all these, we will generate that based upon the general. We will see whether it fits into which of the class, like if general or that, and we generate a separate domain for that.
Partially correct. The last point only. The first 2 points are not correct. It's not a requirement of sponsor or something like that. So sponsor never said that to create a custom domain. Okay, it's our responsibility as a programmer, and then the series standards which you need to follow. We need to convince the sponsor. Sorry. Okay, so basically, so when we will create the custom domains means it is a rare scenario, so we are not going to create each and every study for the custom domains first of all. Okay, so it depends on the requirement. So when we call the requirement means, okay, in some of the studies, okay, there might be a chance to create a capture into the existing domains as per the series standards. If not, then we will check for the supplementary. Still, it is not suitable in the supplementary, and then we'll check for the FA, finding about events or interventions. Still, it's not related to any finding about events or intervention, then we'll go for the custom domain. Okay, so the custom domains, for that custom domain, there are certain rules. Okay, so how to create the custom domains and everything. So this is also mentioned in the SDTMIG as well. So we'll go one by one. Okay. So basically, this is the SDTMIG version 3.3. If you check the section 2.6, creating a new domain. So there are some certain rules in the SDTMIG. After this class, you go and check each and every one. So the SDTMIG version 3.3 and the section 2.6. So if you read those assumptions, you'll understand. So today we're going to discuss the overview of the custom domains and the creation of the custom domains and the additional consideration for to create a custom domains. Okay, so the overview of custom domains, okay, that capture and up to any current domain domain. So just now we discussed, right? So whatever the captured data in the current trial, so the current clinical trial, there has been captured some data points that we have not fitted into the existing domain domains. So in that case, we are going to create a custom domain. Okay, so add to the ability to map data, the relevant observation class model as required. So fine. So we decided to create a custom domain. First of all, what we need to identify the thing is that, okay, first of all, the data capture structure we can fit into. So whether it is the events or intervention or is a special purpose, what kind of data is captured, and then the which structure is fit into as per the SDTM standards. Okay, so that one. So prefer to dumping data and finding about. Okay, so that's what. So the first of all, when we check the any additional data captured in the clinical trial, we will check the existing domains, later supplementary, and still it is not fitted into the existing sub and the main domain, then we'll go for the finding. But the finding about also, we have a certain rule. So in generally, many people said that if the data is not fit into the existing SDTM domain, then we will map it to the finding about FA domain. That is absolutely wrong. It's not the case. It's not meant by the finding about domains. The finding about domains mean that, okay, there has been information captured in the any findings, events or interventions. Okay, so it means, for example, I'll give the one procedure only, and the PR, the procedure data capture, and the procedure data capture in a brand details in any operated icon and the process, any process out in a capture in a data PR lo pedtam. So that's fine, everyone knows. So the basically the procedure enti time enti live and general untavandi manaki enti ante existing SDTM domain will fit into the PR domain. But when it comes to any surgery done, so sometimes there has been captured the additional information, like, so when the surgery happened, so how much blood drained, so what is the quantity of blood drained, so for that list. Okay, so these kind of things. Okay, for example, blood drained means how much quantity and then those related information captured in the particular trial, so that we cannot fit into the current PR as a PR. Okay, so in that case, what we can do is that we will create a particular FA domain. So the FA domain speaks that, okay, the information this finding about to related to what procedures means interventions. Okay, so then the main information captured in the intervention, the PR domain, that about events or interventions, right? So that information captured into the FA. It means there should has been a relation between the interventions finding, events finding. Okay, so these two things to create a FA domain. So it's not the case that there is no relation between the events or intervention findings, right? So in that finding about, in that case, we will not create a FA domain. Some people will create, but as per standards, that is absolutely wrong. Okay. Fine. So the all collected data should be submitted. So basically, in the clinical trial, whatever the data points captured, we need to submit it for the SDTM standards, right? So in that case, if the data is not fitted into the parent and supplementary in the finding about, okay. So when to create a custom domain, collected data doesn't fit to the available SDTM domains. Again, we discussed there is no application tags of the therapeutic. The tags means therapeutical IGs are not okay. So particular therapeutic area we have the specific guidelines and then as well as the SDTM IGs, right? So the tags does not exist for the TA, okay, and the therapeutic area. The some sponsor SDM standards include a sponsor defined domains, okay. The some sponsor means, for example, some of the specific line they work for the particular therapeutic areas well known, okay. So for that particular sponsor, they already define in-house processes for which clinical trial we required some specific custom domains, okay. Why? Because they are creating for the many years already for the particular therapeutic areas. So they have set some particular standards for the custom domains. In that case, they will share the details, okay. So in that way also we can use that particular standards, okay. So the documenting. So documenting should be described in detail in the CSDRG, okay. So the custom domains, right, the custom domains, it's not a well-known domains as per the standards. So within the CD standards, we are creating these custom domains. It means we should document somewhere. So to know the FDA reviewers. For that purpose, when we create a custom domains, we will clearly mention in the CSDRG, okay. So study data reviews guidelines, right? And clearly mention this, the aim custom domains creation, inte8 mention this. So obtain approval from sponsor, yeah. So the sponsor, into the propose so data points capture in a clinical trial. This is related to the particular analysis, analysis share and information requirement. Information is not fitting to the current existing SDTM and supplementary domain. So that we are going to create a custom domains. So for that we need to take a approval from the sponsor, okay. So that is also one thing. So communicated to the sponsor with the CRF pages data where custom domains mapping were applied. Okay, this is what. So we need to communicate.
For encryption, are you sharing the screen? I can see only like the starting of the page. That's it.
Yeah, I'm in the fifth slides. You're not able to see my fifth slide?
No, and those are only first slide.
That's what I asked for the initial. So are you able to see the screen and then the screen? So in that case, you can ask immediately, right? Okay. Let me just test. Now?
No, sir. No, sir. Could you reshare it, sir?
Yeah, let me do that. Share my entire screen time. It would be better. Now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then the documenting part. Okay, again the communication to the sponsor with CRF pages data where custom domains mapping were applied. Okay, so basically when we are discussing with the sponsor, when we are communicating with the sponsor these custom domains, first of all, what we need to do that we need to provide the detailed, comprehensive details for the sponsor. Why? Because okay, with CRF form these data is captured and with CRF pages. Okay, form name, page name should be mentioned and the field name particular. If the form itself for the capture for the custom, then there is a difference. If there's some particular fields, then we need to mention these data points is we are going to map for the custom domains. Okay, so the detailed information we need to provide to the sponsor and taking to the confirmation for the particular custom domains. Okay, fine. So check for available published domains. Okay, so the first of all we decide that we are going to create a custom domain for the current trial for the so and so data points. Okay. Check for the available published domains. Okay, first of all, we will check for the available published domains. Available published means, so if you go for the any Fuse or any particular Lex Johnson, these publications also will be available for the custom domains. Okay, any publications or any particular standards which already exist in the particular current IGs or something like that. Okay, so does it fit into any existing domain? This is anyway we'll check for that. Check reserved domain codes. Okay, and the SDTM IG appendicitis. Tags and the series website for the recent published. Okay, so these are the things first we will check. Okay, whether we can fit into any custom domain these information. Okay, and then next check for the standards and the models of the sponsor. Sponsor may have already created the custom domains for the data. Okay, that's what we discussed previously. So the sponsor is working for the multiple customers, means the multiple CROs. So they already in the previous trials they might created all the custom domains. Okay, so for that particular purpose, we are going to check with the sponsor standards whether you have any particular recommendation to create a sponsor domain for these data. So if yes, then we will take those references from the sponsor and then we'll create. Okay. If not, then we'll identify the general observation classes. So the which observation class, general observation class is going to fit these custom domain information. First, the event. Okay, did something happen to the subject or did the subject reach to milestone in the study? Okay, the event requirement entry is something happened to the subject, right? So anything, something's happened to the subject, that's we called as an event. So the data captured is fit into the event. Then we'll go for the event structure. Okay, so what are the variables present in the SDTM event structure? The same event structure variables we will add, and we will change the domain prefix for the particular thing. We'll show the later slides. Interventions. Did the subject receive any substance, agent, medication, meal, procedure? So these are the things, okay. It falls under intervention structure, okay. Did the subject take any substance, agent, medication, meal, procedure? So these kind of information related to the particular data points, then we'll opt for the intervention. Then the finding. Okay, was an examination or test performed or was something measured? Okay, so that's what the finding. The finding is obviously the test related information, any examination on and then something measured. Okay, so these kind of information will fit into the finding domain. So now we have chosen the which general observation class we are going to map this information. Okay, then the requirements that the custom domains must fit into the one of the three general observation classes. Okay, so the custom domain మనకి ఏంటి అంటే మనం వచ్చిన క్యాప్చర్ చేసిన డేటా ఈ 3 క్లాసెస్ లో ఇక్కడ ఒక దాంట్లో ఫిట్ అవ్వాలన్నమాట. మనం కస్టమ్ డొమైన్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, now so we have decided to create a custom domain and then which observation class is going to map the data, and so we have checked with the sponsor whether there are any differences from the previous experience. So these things we identified. So now it's a time to create a custom domain. So what are the things? Steps to create a custom domain. Okay, so the next step is to determine the letter domain code for the custom domains. Okay, so now we decided the observation class and then we need to define the domain name first. Okay, so the domain name, okay, note that it should not be the same as any already published or in discussion domain code. Okay, ఇదేంటి అంటే ఆల్రెడీ మనకి ఏదైతే పబ్లిష్ అయ్యింది సేమ్ విత్ పబ్లిష్డ్ డొమైన్స్ కానీ ఎనీ డిస్కషన్ డొమైన్స్ అంటే ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ ఇన్ డొమైన్స్ పబ్లిష్డ్ డొమైన్స్ అలాంటి ప్రపోజల్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నా కానీ వాటితో మ్యాచ్ అవ్వదు. ఇట్ షుడ్ స్టార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డిఫరెంట్ prefix and the naming convention. Okay, the domain code starts with the XYZ or the result for the custom domains. Okay, I think this part are already covered in the previous sessions. Okay, so any custom domains will start with the XYZ. So where the iPhone may be replaced any letter for the or number, this domain code will be the name of the domain and will also used for the replace the prefixes for variable for the classes. Okay, so yeah, so మనకి ఏంటంటే domain name అనేది XYZ to start అవుతుంది. The second letter it depends on the particular information we can, whether it is a letter or the number or something like that. Okay, so the most probably the letter alphabet. Okay, sometimes many of the client what they did, the randomization information they will create one custom domain like ZR. Okay, ZR means actually the randomization information. So the randomization information we can there are randomization kit and the randomization number, randomization ID. These kind of additional information will capture for the particular sponsor specific things. Okay, based on their stratification methods. Okay, when the randomization is doing the clinical well, they'll follow some stratifications. Okay, it's not about the blindly. The subject is going to take this medicine, the subject is going to take this medicine. They will randomize based on the some stratification criteria. Okay, so for that already they have particular set of things to do the randomization. Then in that case, the particular clients they already well known for that this randomization information fit into the ZR domain. Okay, this is one of the custom domain. So the ZR means the randomization information. Okay, so the domain example, the intervention A and the findings A. So it's an example, that's it. Okay, the provocations and adjudicated events. Okay, events YMS adjudication events. Okay, and the findings are the measurements. Okay, so it is one of the example. Okay, so if some intervention we can create X the provocations. Okay, and the events adjudications and the findings are the measurements. Okay, and adjudication means, for example, some of the clinical trial. So based on the capture data and the data points, okay, adjudication committee or principal investigator, they will provide some judgment on the particular data points and particular disease things. Okay, so some of the specific disease they require the adjudication committee information to perform the analysis. Okay, so in the real time you might hear some of the trials adjudication data. So adjudication data means, okay, it's a kind of judgment. Judgments means already existing the information. Based on the existing information, they will review that data and they provide their judgment on the particular trial and the data points. So those data we call as adjudication data. Okay, so that adjudication data we are not. So in that case, we create the custom domains. Okay. So these are the real-time scenarios I am saying. So when you are going to interview, did you know the custom domains means you worked on the custom, you are very well confident, then you said that I worked the custom domains. Okay, at least you are not that much confidence. You said that I know the custom domains, I didn't work, get a chance to do the custom domains, but I know the custom domains. Then you can explain these information the step by step. They will impress definitely. Okay. to creating a custom domain. Okay, then yeah, select the include requirement identifier variables. Okay, like study ID, domain, user data sequence, any permissible identifier variables. Okay, group ID, ref ID, sponsor ID. These can be found in section 2 to 4 for the study data tabulation model related to all gender observation classes. Okay, so fine, we have decided to create a custom domain as well as the naming convention also. So now we need to identify the variable names. Okay, so the variable names also we need to fit into those some regular these the permissible identifier variables as well. Okay. For example, if you choose in the ZA, then the ZA group ID, ZA ref ID, ZA SPID. Okay, so the first two letters would be the domain prefix. Okay, this is the naming convention for the custom domain variables. Okay, so include the topic variable from the identified gender observation class, the TRT or intervention per term, and the test code for the finding. You know, right? For the each and every observation class, we have the topic variable for the for the any intervention, okay, TRT, any events, we have the term, any test code for, any finding for the test code. So these are the topic variables. So we know that we are creating the custom domain. That custom domain is we are following the so and so particular gender observation class means that particular topic variable also depend. If you chosen for the finding, then our particular test code will be the ZA test custom domain. Okay. So the next, select the included relevant qualifier variables from the identified gender observation class only. These can be found in the section in the 221, 222, and the 223 for the study data. So these are the references for the SDTM the sections. You can go and refer those things. You have some assumptions to understand the things. Okay. So the additional variables, again, it starts from the ZA test, ZA cat, ZA position, and ORRES and ORRSU, etc. Okay. So we decided the domain prefix and the observation classes. Obviously, the set of variables we have in the SDTM right? So we'll change the domain prefix, and based on the information, we will create the other domain variables too. Okay. So again, the time point variables. So the time point variables also again we map to like ZADTC, ZADTY, and the ZADTPT time point references. If it's required in the data is captured in the particular drive, then we create. Okay, so set to the order for the variable within the domain. The identifier must be followed the topic variable, qualifiers, finally timing variable. So this we discussed already. The first we will choose the topic and the qualifiers and the timing variable. The variable must then be observed within these rules to match the order of variable given in the sections too. Okay, so when we are creating the custom domains, still we need to follow the SDTM series standard rules. Okay, so we are creating a new domain, but we are not changing any standards. If you opt for the interventions class, then still we will populate the domain variable names and then the rules, everything for some derived variables will create based on the particular class. Okay, we are not deviating the SDTM rules. Okay. So again, set the order variable under it. Okay, the standard variable labels for the SDTM model should be used. The standard variables with just the labels for that. Okay, so generally for the category also, okay, for these custom domains, ZA card and all these things, we have already existing variables for the other standard domains. The similar naming convention we are following. The labels also we will apt for that the particular data point related information we are going to apt to the custom domains as well. Okay, so we are not changing anything, just it's a data point related, we are going to change some particular things. So ensure that appropriate standard variables are being properly applied by the comparing to the use of variable in the standard domain. That's what we discussed. Okay, what we create the variable, it should be aligned with the SDTM standard variables. Okay, so ensure that there are no sponsor defined variables added to the domain. This excludes model permissible variable which could be included in the parent domain. Any sponsor defined variables should be in the supplemental qualifiers. Okay. Okay, information captured, they are fitting into the custom domain. That's fine. So that additional information related, there has been captured some other additional information from the sponsor defined. So that also we will put into the supplementary custom domain. So in that case, okay, the ZA would be the custom domain name and the supplementary qualifier for ZA. Again, it's the same convention for the regular supplementary qualifiers. Okay. So the variable attributes within the domain should supplementary qualifiers dataset must conform to the SAS version for transport file convention. Okay, yeah, these are any regular rules, right? For the any variable name must should be the 8 characters and the label should be the 40 character. Data length must be no longer than 200. Is it in the SDTM standards? Still, anyone not aware of these rules? If no, please let us know and then I'll explain quickly. Everyone knows, right? Yes or no? Anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah, okay. So still we need to follow for the same convention for the custom domains too. Okay. The variable resizing rules. The resizing. In this resizing, I think you previously explained, right? So in the P21 class, I guess. So when we are getting the additional length related issues, okay. So that we are going to resize the data. Resize the data means, okay. For example, one of the IE test or any coval value in the comment domain. If we have more than 200 characters, we will split it to the coval 1, 2, 3, so and so on. Okay, fine. But sometimes, okay, so we are going to give the 200 for the particular variable, but based on the current data captured, it's a running thread or one thread. So the still data, maximum data is captured for the particular variable is 139 or 120 characters. Still, we have given the 200. So in that kind, we'll get those kind of length related issues, the P20. Okay, in that case, okay, it's up to you. You can't research each and every run and then you can and validation, or else you can go and directly use the P21 validation and provide explanation for the until database log. We can ignore this one. The once database is not done, we will research the data, something like that you can explain. So some of the additional consideration for this, okay, incorrect use of the custom domains. Data and separate CRF pages may fit into the existing domain, okay. So for example, enter the data on the separate CRF pages, okay, some separate CRF capture అయిన పరికరమైన ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి చూడాలి ఎందుకంటే ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ డొమైన్ లో ఫిట్ అవుతుంది దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ క్రైటీరియా రైట్ సో ఇఫ్ we didn't check the existing domains properly then we create the custom domain that is the issue there might be a chance to the reviewers from the sponsor the additional reviewers they might ask that why you put these information to the particular custom domain what is the reason so this is the information which we can adapt into the particular current domain right so that's why we need to aware and then the proper CD standards and then we need to check with the SME team so whether it is right approach or not while creating the custom domains data collector is going to be used for the different reason okay so for example మనకి ఏదైనా క్యాప్చర్ అయిన డేటా ఏదైనా పర్టికులర్ అదర్ పర్పస్ రీజన్ కోసం క్యాప్చర్ చేశారా సో అది కూడా కన్సిడరేషన్ తీసుకోవాలి ఇంకా ద కస్టమ్ డొమైన్స్ ఈస్ డ్యూ టు సెపరేషన్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద టైం ఓకే అగైన్ ఇట్ the same data is captured for the particular purpose and after some certain points we require the data information for the different purpose so in that case also if the sponsor decided to create custom and then we will the custom domains should not be confused with the utility intermediate data set okay yeah so when you create the custom domains that should not be any ambiguous information or ambiguous situations to the existing domain and data sets intermediate data sets okay so the purpose of the creation of the custom domains and then why we created what is the information is captured and then when we put those information to which observation classes and then what how is the naming convention of the particular custom domains and the variable naming conventions the standards everything should align to the CD standards right so it should not be the any ambiguous situation for the custom domains. So there are some additional consideration to create a custom domain. Okay, some events. Okay, I said that this is the education data. So many of the trials, okay, we require the education data. So that is for the any particular sensitivity analysis or any particular further analysis, we require the education data in the many of the therapeutic areas. So those we can fit into the education data in the events. Some intervention, procedure interventions, okay, facilitating intervention, plan intervention, these kind of things, okay. Some miscellaneous test and other measurements is going to match some finding. So these are some consideration. So in the real time, we may face these kind of data or in any other different kind of data. But however, so based on the data structure, we need to find the right custom domain class. Okay, so that's it for that. Custom domains, okay, so what is the custom domains, when we need to create the custom domains, what is the consideration to create a custom domains, what all are the steps we are going to check for the before creating the custom domains, these are the things, okay. So any questions on the custom domains class and any previous classes questions you can ask me. Anyone has any questions? అందరికీ అర్థమైన అసలు ఏం అర్థం కాలేదు సో ద క్వశ్చన్స్ చాలా చాలా తక్కువ అడుగుతున్నారు అసలు అంటే లైక్ అన్ని టెన్షన్ ఉండాలి లేకపోతే ఏం తెలియకుంటున్నాను ఉండాలి అర్థమైంది ఇప్పుడు టాపిక్ ద కస్టమ్ రిలేటెడ్ థింగ్స్
Yes, sir.
okay so please keep in mind these points so when you are working real time or when you are performing interview so if you explain these things for the customers definitely they will impress. So is there any other questions related to internship or anything? Okay, so if no other question, do one thing. So go to the SDTM IGs, okay, and then check for the custom domain related information and the assumptions, okay. Have any questions? Ask me to the next class, okay. So once we started the project, you don't get much time to refresh your SDTM knowledge or your programming knowledge, okay. So I will request you all to that you have 1 or 2 more days to refresh your SAS knowledge. So go and refresh all your base and advanced SAS skills and then there's some SDTM related information from that, okay. So from the next classes we are going to start for the project work, okay. If no other question, I think we can close the call. Okay then, yeah, I'll take it up now. So thank you all for joining the class. Have a good day. Bye bye. Vishnu Priya.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah, Managama.
Yeah, meeting.